Today we're going to be talking about the average rate of change. If y is equal to f of x, so in function notation, then the average rate of change on the interval ab is f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a. That is simply the change in the y's divided by the change of the x's. This is your slope formula. Something I do want to point out. If your change in the y's, so the top part, is a number and your change in the x's is 0, this does not exist. You cannot divide by 0. If your top part is 0 and your change in x's is a number, this is just 0. That's your rate of change. That would be a horizontal line. The top one would be a vertical line. Alright, moving on. Number 1. F of x is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 6 from negative 3 to 0. x1 and x2 are arbitrary. I'm going to choose the first one as x1. The second one as x2. This is a side. You don't need to really think too much about this. I just do want to show you. If, let's just pretend x1 is equal to 2, x2 is equal to 3, y1 is equal to 3, y2 is equal to 4. I'm just making those numbers up off the top of my head. If we have this, and we do y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, we are going to get 1 over 1, which is 1. If now we were to change these and say the positive 2 is x2, x1 is 3, y2 is 3, and y1 is 4, we are going to have 3 minus 4 over 2 minus 3. This is negative 1 divided by negative 1. Two negatives make a positive, so positive 1. It'll give you the same answer. I did just want to show that to you because picking x1 and x2 is arbitrary. The only thing that is important is you keep x2, that value that you choose, whenever you find your y value, that one has to be y2. And likewise, if you choose x1, the value you get for y has to be y1. So your 2's and your 1's have to stay together. Alright. So, let's solve for x1 first. x1 is solve using x1, so y1 is equal to negative 3 squared plus 5 times negative 3 plus 6. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And we're leaving the 6. 9 plus 6 is 15. Minus 15, this is just 0. y2. This is going to be 0 squared plus 5 times 0 plus 6, which is just 6. So for part A, the rate of change, ROC for short, is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is 6 over 3, or 2. There's your rate of change. Alright, I'm going to skip B and C. I'm going to go to part 2, and I'm going to show you how to use Desmos for these. For Desmos, you're going to type in your equation. Four divided by x plus 2. Okay. Now you have two options in order to find your y values given your x's. So if you look at negative 3 and 0, we can type in x equals -3 and x equals 0. We have 0, 2, and -3, -4. I'm going to show you two things in this. The first one is you can actually type in your formula for slope. So 2 minus -4 is 0 minus -3. Okay, I forgot what the other one was. 0 minus -3. So there's your slope of... type something in wrong. Yep, I left out a negative here. There we go. There's your slope of +2. Alright, the other thing we can do is we can hit the plus on the top left, table, and in x1 type in your x values. So 0 and -3. y1 you type in your y values, 2 and -4. 4, not 7. Alright, now, y1... So I get to tilde on. There we go. Tilde. It's the eyebrow key. M x1 plus b. Remember how I said the rate of change formula is the same thing as slope? M is your slope. Look at the bottom under parameters. M is equal to 2. So you can find it that way. Okay? So, for part 2, part A of part 2, this is going to be equal, for the rate of change, is 2. Look at B. 0 and 1. I'm going to take off those two now because I'm not using them. Sorry, it's hard to type this in on my iPad. Alright, if we look in at 0 and +1, you get 1.333. You may already know off the top of your head that this is a continuing decimal and that your fraction is 4/3. If you did not know that, you cannot, and I repeat, cannot round to 1.3. You have to get the fraction. To do that, you're going to type in your actual equation and you're plugging 1 for your x value. There's the number we got, 1.333. If you look on the left where my line is, there is a square divided by a square. If you click it, it'll transform this into a fraction for you. It will also simplify the fraction. So 4/3 is that y value. Now you could find the rate of change. I'm not going to. Last one, I want to show you if you put -2 in. Once I zoom out. If you put in x equals -2, you get this line. No matter how far up we go, it looks like the lines are merging, but they're not. To prove that, and by the way, you can tell if you click one, there's no point that shows up. But to prove that, we're going to have 4 plus divided by -2 plus 2, and that says undefined. Notice what this is. This is just 4 divided by 0. You cannot divide by 0. It does not exist. Alright. That's good for that one. You can take time to do 3 if you want. I'm not going to. I'm moving on. Using the table of values, find the average rate of change. Alright. -2 and 0. Those are your two x values. Here's -2. The y value is -4. If we look at 0, 0, -6, we're going to have -6 minus a -4 divided by 0 minus a -2. This is -2 over 2, which is -1. For the next one, I'm going to write down the formula. You can find the values on the left or on the right. So we have -4 minus, excuse me, -5.875. Divide that by 2 minus 0.5. Now that decimal, we can plug that into Desmos. And we're going to get 5.875. 5.875. 5.875. -5.875 divided by 2 minus 0.5. 1.25 as a fraction, 5/4. Our answer for the rate of change of B is 5/4. Compare the functions. Which graph has the greatest average rate of change on the interval of 0 to 2? The graph on the left. At x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. At 2, our y value is 1.5. So we have 1.5 minus 0 over 2 minus 0. This is going to come out to be 0.75. Look on the one on the right. We have again 0, 0 and 2, 2. So 2 minus 2. 2 minus 0. And then 2 minus 0. 4, 2 over 2. Which is +1. The quadratic, the graph on the right, has the greatest rate of change. All right, that'll be it for today. Have a great rest of your day.